In the dead of night, as the world slept, a predator stalked the streets of Los Angeles. He moved like a shadow, striking fear into the hearts of millions, leaving behind a trail of blood, terror, and shattered lives. This is the horrifying story of Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. Before we dive into the disturbing tale of one of America's most terrifying serial killers, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with more gripping stories from the darkest corners of true crime. It was the summer of 1984, and Los Angeles had become the hunting ground of a man whose very name would come to embody pure evil. Richard Ramirez, a drifter from Texas, unleashed a wave of brutal murders, sexual assaults, and home invasions that left the entire city paralyzed with fear. Ramirez, later dubbed the Night Stalker by the media, struck under the cover of darkness. His targets were random, his methods unspeakable. From elderly women to young children, no one was safe. His reign of terror began in June 1984. Ramirez's first known victim was 79-year-old Jenny Vincow, whom he brutally assaulted and murdered in her own home. She was found with her throat slashed, her body a horrifying testament to the evil lurking in the shadows of the city. But this was just the beginning. Over the next year, more bodies began to surface, and a chilling pattern started to emerge. Ramirez would enter homes through unlocked windows or doors, often leaving behind pentagrams, a chilling signature of his twisted obsession with Satanism. As the summer heat intensified, so did Ramirez's attacks. By early 1985, the number of victims had climbed dramatically. He would shoot, stab, beat, or strangle his victims, showing no mercy. Often he would assault his victims, forcing them to swear to Satan before killing them. The brutality of his crimes shocked the nation. As the body count rose, so did the fear. The people of Los Angeles lived in constant terror, locking their doors and windows, praying they wouldn't be next. No one knew when or where the Night Stalker would strike again. Ramirez's attacks weren't confined to a specific area or type of victim. He traveled across the city, striking in suburban neighborhoods, apartment complexes, and isolated homes. His unpredictability made him even more terrifying. Despite the citywide panic, the police had little to go on. Ramirez left few clues, but his brazen methods would eventually lead to his downfall. A critical breakthrough came when detectives found a footprint from a rare Avia sneaker at one of the crime scenes, Ramirez's one mistake. Meanwhile, survivors who had managed to escape Ramirez's vicious attacks provided a description: a tall, gaunt man with long, greasy black hair and decaying teeth. With these new leads, police began to close in on the Night Stalker, but he wasn't done yet. In August 1985, Ramirez made a fatal error. After committing yet another brutal attack, his stolen car was identified and his fingerprints were finally matched. The police now had a name: Richard Ramirez. On August 30th, 1985, the Night Stalker was recognized by a group of residents in East Los Angeles. Realizing he had been identified, Ramirez attempted to flee, but the community banded together. They chased him down, cornering him until the police arrived to take him into custody. At last, after a year of terror, the Night Stalker was in handcuffs, his reign of horror finally over. Ramirez's trial was a media sensation, lasting over 4 years. In the courtroom, he showed no remorse, often flashing satanic symbols and taunting the victims' families. On November 7, 1989, he was convicted of 13 counts of murder, 5 counts of attempted murder, 11 counts of sexual assault, and 14 counts of burglary. Ramirez, Real Audio. I am beyond good and evil. I will be avenged. Lucifer dwells in us all. Sentenced to death, Ramirez spent the rest of his life on death row at San Quentin Prison, where he died of natural causes in 2013. But even in death, his legacy as one of the most feared killers in American history remains. Richard Ramirez's evil deeds left an indelible mark on Los Angeles, a city haunted by the fear and brutality of his attacks. The Night Stalker may be gone, but the scars he left behind remain. If you found this story chilling, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We'll be bringing you more stories that dive deep into the darkest minds and the crimes that shook the world.